Hi, welcome back to my new video series where we pull oracle cards from my deck, Awakening Intuition, to get some invitations for the first and second half of each month. So today we're going to be pulling cards for the second half of September to get some invitations to work with our intuition. Also, these cards help inform our self-love, our mindfulness, and our self-care practices. So I'll just get the cards going here from the first deck, Awakening Intuition. And I was just going to quickly recap how some of the cards last time landed for me, because these readings have really been helping me kind of navigate the weeks to come after I pull cards. So it seemed like for the first half of September, we had a big invitation, a lot of us, about co-creating more proactively, having a window of co-creation kind of open up in our lives for us. And I'm just going to start warming up and kind of playing with the cards as I'm telling you about these great 64 cards. I love how many cards there are here. I'll just hold them to help warm them up. But I think we had a big window of co-creation come in first half of September. And we also pulled a card about ritual. So it's funny, that card worked for me in two different ways during the first half of September. One, I did start doing a little intuitive ritual, like a little bathing ritual that I haven't been doing in a long time, where I just get myself in the bath, listen to a great podcast, relax, and just really open up and let some intuitive messages come in. Also, I started a new ritual in my life where there is something I want to be more mindful of co-creating in my life, and I feel like I'm having a window of opportunity to do that. So I've started a weekly ritual where I touch in with myself about that area of my life to help me co-create. So that ritual card worked in two different ways for me. One, an intuitive ritual that I kind of picked back up, and then a ritual I started in my life in another way regarding co-creation. Then another card we pulled last time from the Grief, Grace, and Healing deck, which is the new deck that's coming out at the end of September, was about being of service to other people. So that really landed for me where the first half of September I got an opportunity come in with my business to be of even more service, which was exciting. And I also found, which is what the card in the Grief, Grace, and Healing deck speaks to, sometimes it's really nice to get a break from yourself and say, let me do something for someone else. Let me focus on helping this other person, whether it's somebody at work, somebody at home, something in the world you can give to, just being kind to someone in a store, someone you don't even know, in a healthy, safe way, just smiling at them or being nice. So sometimes being of service can really be a nice break from our own issues. Sometimes it's draining and we need to pull back and care for ourselves, but other times it's like, oh, this really feels good just to focus on others and giving right now. So I hope those landed well for you, and I'm so excited to see what we pull for the second half of September, because sometimes we've been pulling the same card twice in one month, so the month kind of has a theme. So here we go. We'll just warm up the Awakening Intuition deck with our chakras in our palm here and set the intention that we get some great cards for the second half of September to help us navigate our lives. And my shuffling method by now. I'm just waiting to see a card that really kind of jumps out, and my own intuition will tell me, oh, Tanya, this is a card that everybody's going to want to hear from. Okay. We got a bunch that came out right here. And you also probably are knowing my method. When I get a bunch that come out that way, I will take the first card. And even if you look, the first card is kind of peeking out above the others there. So I'm really paying attention to that first card. This feels really appropriate already when I'm looking at that card. So let's pick a second card. And again, I'm just seeing if there's a card that really jumps out and speaks to me. Sometimes a bunch will jump out, but I really like to get one that kind of, there you go, just sticks out and says, Tanya, pick me. So that's our second card. Appropriate. So this deck has 3 different color suits. So far, we're getting 2 cards from the same suit. So let's see if we can get one card that really speaks to me here for everybody. Okay, so there we go. That one is really, one card is sticking up above the others. I'm going to take that one, and it is from the same color suit. Interesting. Okay, this is a card we've pulled in the past, but not for a while. So let's quickly talk about the cards that we pulled for the second half of September. The first card is Declutter Your Mind, Home, or Schedule. All right, let me read this card to you. Organize and tidy your living or workspace. Quiet your mind for light house cleaning in your head. Free up room in your schedule so you aren't giving away all your energy to others. Declutter your life to make space for your intuition. Less can often be more. Simplify and streamline. When I asked my own intuition what this card might mean for all of us in the second half of September, I heard it is about simplifying things. That's something that's really important when you're watching these videos or when you're pulling cards for yourself. Read what the message is on the card, pay attention to what I'm saying, but also then use your own intuition to tune into, what does this mean for me? So I heard clairaudiently in my mind, simplify. I'm hearing that also this is especially about simplifying, and as the card said, streamlining our routines, the ways we're doing things so that we're not wasting energy, kind of overdoing, overgiving. I'm getting a clairvoyant image of people kind of running around, racing around. We're really wanting to streamline and simplify things so that we can make the most of our time and energy and be of most service and really accomplish what we're wanting to accomplish in the second half of September. Because I'm also hearing there could be a lot going on in a good way for many people watching this video. So a lot of hustle and bustle and activity, but it's all really good. So there is going to be a need to get really simplified with some of our methods of how we handle things in our day-to-day life. So that should be exciting. So we might be hustling, but busy in a good way in the second half of September. And let's look at the second card, Explore Divination Tools. And I'll read this card to you. And it's great that we're pulling this card because Oracle decks, as you know, are a divination tool. Divination tools such as Oracle cards can complement your sixth sense, yet they aren't necessary to access the four main psychic pathways: hearing, seeing, knowing, and feeling guidance. Those exist within you. Play with divination tools to enhance or explore your intuition while remembering that you are a divination tool. Okay, so this card is just a gentle reminder that as I always teach and as you learn about even more in the big expanded guidebook for awakening intuition, we do have our own internal psychic system. So outside of synchronicities, dreams, all these things that are kind of happening a little bit more outside of us, our own psychic system, we will have clairaudience where you hear a voice, clairvoyance where you see an image in your mind, claircognizance where you just have a deep knowing about something, and clairsentience where you're feeling into issues and people and situations. What my intuition is saying for the second half of September is there might be some bigger goals that come into focus for us, things we're really wanting to accomplish. We're kind of wanting to harness our intuition, harness our energy to figure out the best way to go about those, timelines for them. And so sometimes divination tools can help you pinpoint and focus something. So you might be turning to divination tools because simply there's a lot going on. You're getting a lot of good energy, a lot of good activity, you're busy, and there's these bigger goals that are coming into focus in the second half of September, and you're really wanting to fine tune and hone in, how do I go about this? What's the timeline? What are some of the resources and methods? And the divination tools can help you do that. I'm also hearing some people might be using divination tools as a second opinion on their own intuition. My raw intuition is saying this. Let me pull some cards and see if the cards back that up. And remember, when you're looking at cards, you've got to be very open. So look at the message on the card, look at the images, but again, you're going back to your own internal intuition to get the final say on what the card means for you. But they can be a lovely second opinion on your own intuition. All right, let's get the third card for the second half of September. Consider third eye eating. We have pulled this card before. Let me read it to you. Feed your psychic ability. Avoid foods and drinks that make you tired, spacey, cranky, or anxious. Emphasize nutrients that energize, calm, and center you. Healthy eating and consumption of vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients may greatly improve the quality of your intuitive hits and expand your intuitive capabilities in general. Okay, so the third eye eating, we love to pull this card. We've pulled it several times in this series that we're doing. I think what it's talking about now is it goes back to the streamlining issue that's coming in the second half of September. There's some bigger goals happening. There's more activity happening in our life. There's a need to really streamline and simplify to make sure that we have the presence of mind, that we feel centered, we have the energy to really show up for all of this stuff that's happening in the second half of September. So some of that is just eating healthy, making sure that if there's supplements that work for you and you know that, taking them on a regular basis. If there's medication that you need, make sure and take that. Stay away from the foods and the drinks that just make you feel run down or anxious. So again, this is really about you being able to work at your maximum capacity and feel your best to meet all this kind of hustling energy and these bigger goals coming into focus for some of us in the second half of September. So, and also I wanted to mention with this declutter card, that does feel like such a Virgo issue, and there's a lot of Virgo energy right now in astrology. Virgos are very good about getting things organized and clean and tidy. So the last thing we're going to do is pull a card from the Grief, Grace, and Healing deck. This is the new deck that's coming out at the end of September. And I meant to do this in the last video, but this time I'm really going to do it. I'm going to show you just a little different shuffling method that I use, and we'll do that with the Grief, Grace, and Healing. So we'll put this little box to the side. It's so exciting to have two oracle decks out now. Here's you can see how the bigger guidebook looks for that. And the nice thing about the Grief, Grace, and Healing, I think sometimes it's very obvious when we're grieving. There's someone we love dearly who's left our life. They've passed on. The relationship has ended. It's very obvious we're grieving. I think also that we all go through cycles of grief about a lot of different things in our life. So this deck is there to help you navigate any kind of loss, whether it's in the present or something that's coming up from the past, and you need to pull in more grace and find more healing around this issue. So we'll get it out of the pouch. And then the other shuffling method we're going to do is I'm just going to again warm them up by putting them between my hands. And instead of doing the regular shuffling method, we're just going to simply let the cards open to the card that wants to come in to be a little exclamation point card that will fold in nicely to these other cards we've already pulled. So let me just open. Nice. Okay. I love this card, and I'm already getting a message for my intuition about how this folds into the other cards. So the exclamation point card we pull from the Grief, Grace, and Healing deck is connect with your spirituality. Let me read it to you. Spirituality aligns us to something benevolent and greater than ourselves that connects us all. Nourishing spiritual practices will help you better recognize grace. The spiritual perspective, or how experiences might enable us to grow, heal, find purpose, or help others, does not negate pain, but it can counterbalance the harsher realities of being human. Create your own deeper meaning. So this card, I think, especially as we tune into how it folds into the other three cards we pulled for the second half of September, I think we are using a deeper meaning, a deeper spiritual meaning we're finding around a goal or something we want to do. We're tuning into that to give us the extra oomph, the extra motivation to go after that goal to see it through. So I also feel like this is something where in the second half of September, there are some things that are coming into our life that we're doing not just to help us, but because we really feel like it's going to be of service and helpful for other people. So in the second half of September, if there's a lot going on, a big goal that comes into focus for you, you might really be digging deep into your reserves, into your spiritual practices to anchor you and bolster you, especially to give you that motivation to push forward and say, hey, this isn't just for me that I'm doing this. This is going to be good for a lot of people. And that's giving me that extra pep in my step. It's helping me smile through this. It's helping me have more energy. And when we can tune into how this is helpful for others too, wow, those doors of grace sometimes just really open so wide to help flood us, because we're getting the grace we need for ourselves, but also the grace for the other people that what we're doing is going to help with. So I think it's going to be an exciting time for some people watching this video in the second half of September. And I think we will be getting a little bit more focused on what we're wanting to accomplish, not only for the rest of the year, but even for next year in 2024, I'm hearing. It might be that second half of September is kind of a setup phase for some things that we're really going to even do in 2024. So thank you for being with me for this new video for the second half of September. I'm really enjoying these videos. It is my honor to be here and to be pulling cards for you. And it is especially my honor to introduce this Grief, Grace, and Healing deck into the world. I really hope that it is able to support you if there's anything you are grieving, any loss that you're experiencing, any way you're suffering. I hope that this is a tool that really is nourishing for you. That's why I created it. And I hope you all have a very, very nourishing and even exciting second half of September. I will see you right back here when we pull cards for the first half of October. Until then, you can find me on social media. There's links below for that. You can go to my website, find out about personal readings with me. I'm the author of 9 spiritual books. You can find out about those, and you can get links to order both of these decks. So don't forget to subscribe here or like the video just to support the channel. And thank you again for being here. It's your energy that helps create these readings and make them special. So thank you.